What is up, everyone? So I've actually never done this before, but today I'm going to be playing two different monotypes in the video. So I wanted to try out Ogerpon Wellspring form, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to try her out on water or grass, so I decided why not both. I want to kind of compare the two teams, or compare what Ogerpon does in both of those teams, and by the end of the video maybe make a judgment on which I think it's better. Now, I was kind of on the fence about using Ogerpon Wellspring personally, because I think it's, in my opinion, the worst Ogerpon with regards to monotype, and the reason for that is water and grass, especially with the ability water absorb. You don't typically need water absorb on either water or grass, like you're not starving for water immunities. Both of these types resist it anyway, and it is a 4 by resist on Ogerpon Wellspring, so it's kind of a weird one. I mean, immunities are always good, but I feel like it's the least good an immunity could be as an immunity, if that makes sense. You know, if water absorb is on like the rock form or the fire form, way better for those types respectively. But for water and grass, it's just not starving for a water immunity, and that was kind of the main thing that was turning me, like, you know, away from using it. But I used both the other Ogerpon forms, rock and fire, and they were both exceptional on their types. So I want to see if Wellspring is the same. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into the team. And the first member we have is Shiftry, which actually got a massive buff this generation for those who don't know, and that is it got the ability Wind Rider. So Wind Rider is super good. I think it maybe used to have something different. Does it have Prankster? No, maybe don't think Prankster, but it might not have ability at all besides Chlorophyll, but it has Wind Rider now, and Wind Rider increases your speed by 1 stage when you're under the effect of a wind move. This includes like Tailwind, Hurricane, Heat Wave, I think Blizzard. So there's quite a few moves that do affect this, and things like Hurricane, Blizzard, Heat Wave, obviously fantastic. They are all moves that are very scary for grass, so to be immune and to actually get an increased attack off that is pretty fantastic. Now, stat spread wise, we are max attack with max speed. It's max attack adamant nature. It's decently strong, 328. It's not like amazing, but after a Wind Rider boost, it's quite strong, and its speed is kind of poor, but again, after Tailwind, it is doubled, so it can be quite a good lead. Now, we have Focus Sash as well to guarantee live a hit, so we can get our Tailwind off early game. And then moveset wise, we also have Knockoff. So Knockoff is pretty good team support. It's strong enough, like it's stab as well, so that's pretty nice. We have Explosion, which is typically stronger unless your opponent is, of course, Ghost or Rock or Steel, in which case you probably want to click Knockoff. But however, Explosion is quite good. It also forces you to sack your Shiftry, allowing you to go into things like Ogerpon or Bramble Gas, or sometimes Superior as well if you really need that extra bit of speed. And finally, we have Taunt as well to shut down like setup attempts like Ferrothorn. Even in cases like Aerodactyl now, it's going to outspeed you turn 1, or Shuckles are going to shut down as well. Any kind of opposing taunt leads, it's not the fastest, but it's fast enough to outspeed some things, some like slower leads, and it's fast enough to shut down some setup attempts like Dragon Dancers who aren't speed invested initially. So it's pretty good to have overall. You can shut down Corsola as well, another big one you want to shut down against Ghost teams. So the reason why Tailwind is super important on this team is you get the +1 from Wind Rider, you explode in their face, you're suddenly base over 450, base explosion, quite strong, and then you want to go into your Bramble Gas, which does serves much the same purpose. First of all, let's go over Ogerpon, the kind of cornerstone of this team, or the feature mod of this video, I suppose, is Ogerpon Water Wellspring. And I wasn't exactly sure what moveset to use, so I kind of didn't want to use Trailblaze because we already have plenty of grass moves on this, and we have Horn Leech, which is good for longevity. Ivy Cudgel is particularly good. Now, it is water type because your mask is going to change it to water type. It's base 100, high critical ratio, does not make contact, and boosted further by Wellspring Mask by 1.2 times power. So it's base 120, stab, high critical hit ratio, does not make contact, 100% accuracy. It's a really, really, really strong move. Water is also quite nice on grass, mainly to hit fire types. That's kind of it. You can hit ground and rock types very easily, but hitting those fire types, and even steel types to some extent, is quite important. So stat spread wise, we are max attack and max speed with the Jolly Nature. Now, its speed is very respectable, its attack is okay, nothing to write home about, but that's why we have Swords Dance to boost that even further. So if you want to be even stronger, you can, of course, Swords Dance, and you are boosted further by Wellspring Mask, so this thing hits very hard, very fast. We also, I don't think, need Trailblaze on this team because we have Tailwind Shiftry to get its speed up by 2 stages technically, so it goes up to 700 speed, which is very fast and enough to outspeed pretty much the entire tier unboosted. Hornleech again there for longevity. It's also pretty good stab. You know, you can replace this with a lot of things. You can go on Brick Break if you're worried about screening things on like ice, like Aurora Veil if you're particularly worried about that. Play Rough if you're worried about dragons. Power Whip if you want the extra bit of oomph. I don't like the accuracy drop personally. I think Ivy Cudgels is better in that regard, but there are other options. Superpower if you're worried about Steel type. So there are plenty of options you can run instead of Hornleech if you feel like you have enough Grass Stab as it is. Next up we have Knockoff. Knockoff is there because again, kind of good team support. Doesn't synergize the best with this team if I'm being honest. Like we already have Knockoff here in Shiftry, and it actually is like anti-synergy here with Bramble Gas Poltergeist, so do watch out for that. I kind of thought it's a pretty nice option against things like Steel types, but Superpower or Brick Break might just be better. You can play around that yourself, wherever you feel like you want to use in that move slot. Next up we have Bramble Gas, and Bramble Gas pairs fantastically with Shiftry, so you might be wondering like, why am I running a choice band Bramble Gas? Well, let me just say this thing is really, really strong. With Rin Rider giving it a +1 stage in attack thanks to its bonus from here Tailwind, so you get twice your speed. You're over 500 speed, you have a +1 stage in attack and then a +1 stage in attack again with choice band, so this hits over I believe 800 attack, which is very, very, very strong. Paired nicely with powerful stab like Poltergeist and Power Whip, this thing is enough to OHKO most things in the tier. Now, I said a second ago, be very careful with your Poltergeist. In testing, I made this mistake so often. I knocked off my opponent's item, I Poltergeisted. It will not work, it will fail if they do not have an item. Thankfully, a lot of things in Naptex run like Z Crystals or Mega Stones which can't be knocked off, which is a bit of a boost for Poltergeist. Unfortunately, both these moves, Poltergeist and Power Up, are only not 100% accuracy. They're 90 and 85 respectively, so they can miss. It's a bit of a high risk, high reward mon, but when this hits, trust me, there is very little in the game that can eat a hit from a choice band +1 Bramble Gas with very powerful stab moves. Next up we have Shadow Sneak. This is especially good if you can't necessarily get your Tailwind boost off, or if your Tailwind boost is about to run off. 800 base attack, stab, Shadow Sneak is nothing to sniff at. It's going to be plenty good to clean up teams late game as well, so you can rely on that, and it's good to have priority on the team because we do lack speed control a little bit when my Tailwind runs out. And finally, we have Rapid Spin for team support, so if your opponents are trying to like spikes you or sticky web you or even like toxic spikes, now you do have options for most of those entry hazards. Like sticky web is going to boost superior, Venusaur can absorb toxic spikes, so don't worry too much about those. Rapid Spin, it's kind of a last resort if you like really need to remove like 3 layers of spikes, or the Stealth Rock is going to KO like an important Pokemon on your team. Rapid Spin is there, so you can do that. I tried Facade in training, it was kind of fun, but I mean the amount of times this got burnt was very minimal, or paralyzed and stuff. It was fairly minimal. It definitely wasn't as useful as I kind of hoped it to be. Next up we have Ferrothorn, pretty standard Ferrothorn. It's going to be a bulky defensive Ferrothorn with max HP, max defense, and a relaxed nature. So this is going to be your defensive tank on the team. Pairs nicely enough because we have some special defensive Pokemon. Like, I mean, Venusaur's not like super specialty defensive, but I think it's more of an aggressive grass type, and it's nice to have that for physical ice types in the tier that can give you a bit of trouble. It's also good because Ice, of course, gives you trouble, especially Ogerpon is good and all, but Freeze Dry breaks through this, so Venusaur and Ferrothorn are kind of nice options for Ice, while Venusaur and Ogerpon are nice options for Fire. For Bug, we have things like Ferrothorn, Bramble Gas, and Venusaur, so you have like plenty of options to cover your weaknesses. Flying, you kind of have Ferrothorn here, Poison, Ferrothorn, Bramble Gas, Venusaur, so it's kind of like a weird balanced offensive grass is my best way of describing this team, but it's quite strong all the same. I actually hit top 10 with this type, so that's pretty impressive for grass, which is considered a lower tier type. I'm pretty happy to hit top 10 with Shiftry as well. Like it's kind of crazy. I never thought this mon would come back into meta relevance pretty much ever. So moveset wise, we have Spikes, which is good for team support. We can run Stealth Rock too, and there's an argument to be made that Stealth Rock is better because it hits like fire, ice, flying, bug types, which are all like things that grass really hates. So if you're particularly worried about those, I would recommend running Stealth Rock over Spikes. I kind of like Spikes because we have the balance to run these and kind of survive a few turns anyway. Next up we have Gyro Ball. Gyro Ball is good because I am min speed, so it's going to hit very, very, very strong. Usually, I think it's 150 base is max Gyro Ball if I'm not mistaken, so it's typically 150 base stab, which is good again to tear through a lot of teams. You don't even have to invest too much into offenses here for Ferrothorn to be doing a lot of damage, especially paired with Body Press, which uses your defense stat over your attack stat, so it is going to be using my 397 defense stat instead of my 225 attack stat, so Ferrothorn can hit back pretty respectably and hit things quite strong, especially things like Ice type super effectively, which is going to give my team a lot of trouble. And finally, we have Leech Seed there for longevity, so a lot of my team don't have any way of recovering. Like Superior has no way, nor is Bramble Gas, nor is Shiftry. Venusaur and Wellspring kind of do, but Leech Seed support is quite good, especially paired with leftovers for even more longevity. And we can punish physical attackers thanks to Iron Barbs. So next up we have Venusaur. So I definitely recommend running Chlorophyll before you Mega Evolve your Venusaur, and that is because your speed can actually come in clutch against some fire matchups. If you're against things like Torkoal or even Charizard, you can get the extra speed and potentially KO with like Sludge Bomb or Earth Power against those fire types. Now of course you also want to Mega Evolve, you get Thick Fat, which is going to make you a little bit more resistant to fire and ice moves. Fantastic for grass. Obviously they are two super effective attacks, and this is again a bulky offensive Venusaur with max HP, max special attack. It hits pretty respectably, has good HP stat, and definitely respectable defenses, especially after Mega Evolving. It gets that little bit more powerful. Personally, if I could redesign Venusaur in any way, I'd probably swap its like attack and speed stats. It would be quite nice to make this thing a little bit faster, but it's still decently fast, outspeeds some slower walls. So moveset wise, we have Sludge Bomb, which is good to throw around poisons on the target. Again, it's kind of a balanced offense team, so that poison chip can be very effective. It's also super effective on fairies, and just a nice reliable stab move on anything that isn't a steel type. It's quite good for Weezing Galar as well. It's kind of a Pokemon that can wall out my team, so being able to have that option is quite strong. Venusaur is actually a really good Pokemon against poison. We also have Earth Power there as well for things like Toxapex, for Amoonguss kind of, but you can also spam Sludge Bomb against Amoonguss. But Earth Power is quite good against poison types, steel types, which would kind of otherwise wall out your Sludge Bombs. We have Giga Drain, which is a reliable stab and a bit of recovery. If you want that extra bit of oomph, you can run Energy Ball. Personally, I like Giga Drain more because it's strong enough to give you back a decent chunk of HP usually, which can be the difference between like a 2 or 3 at KO, which of course matters a lot in Pokemon. And finally, we have Synthesis for longevity. Now, it's not the bulkiest, and I thought for that reason I didn't really want to run Leech Seed, because I feel like Leech Seed is good on a more defensive Venusaur, while Synthesis is good on a high HP, because you get that kind of true HP damage. So it heals 50% of your HP under normal weather conditions. So that's going to be more. 50% of 364 is obviously more than 50% of 301, so it's like a true heal. So is Leech Seed, but Leech Seed's true heal is based on your opposing Pokemon's HP, so typically speaking, you'll get less value out of that than Synthesis on something like a bulky HP Venusaur, in my opinion. And finally, we have Superior. So Superior is my main form of speed control on the team outside of Tailwind. So if my Tailwind runs out, my Superior is plenty fast with a max speed, max special attack, timid nature. Looking at this thing's stat spread, it kind of sucks. 75 special attack is bad. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's bad. Especially without a boosting nature or any form of boosting item, it's not going to hit that hard, except for the fact we have Contrary. So Contrary reverses the effects of any status changes. So if I would ordinarily lower my special attack, it will actually increase my special attack. If I would lower my speed, it increases my speed. But it works vice versa as well. If I would increase a stat, it actually reduces that stat. So as long as you don't run any self-boosting moves on Superior, it can be quite good. Under Sticky Web, the Contrary boost will actually give me plus speed. So I believe under a Sticky Web, Contrary boost, and Tailwind, and Choice Scarf, this thing has like, I think it's like 1,400 speed or something. Like, you can't outspeed it. Unless you're like Agility, Tailwind, Barraskewda in the rain, you're not going to outspeed this. It's simply that fast. So moveset wise, we have Leaf Storm, and this is key with Contrary. So Leaf Storm typically lowers your special attack by 2 stages. Thanks to Contrary, it'll increase my special attacks 2 stages. So it's 130 base stab that is doubling my special attack every time. So it's basically like a 130 base stab nasty plot. Now it is only 90% accurate. That is the kind of the downside to it. But again, high risk, high reward. If it pays off, it can be extremely good. It can be extremely powerful late game sweep. We have Dragon Pulse there, partially because the thing's move pool sucks, and partially because Dragon types are very nasty for this. Obviously going to whirl on my Leaf Storm pretty badly, so being able to Choice Scarf, Dragon Pulse something off guard and KO it can be quite important for the team. We have Hidden Power Rock as well, much the same reason why it's just Stealth Rock. Rock is a very good offensive move to have on a grass type. It hits bug, flying, fire, ice super effectively. Everything but poison that would otherwise like wall you out or would be super effective against you, Rock hits super effectively, which is very, very nice for grass. Now, unfortunately, it's weak. It's base 60. It's not going to be KOing much. It can maybe be the difference of like KOing a half HP Charizard or something, but it's not going to KO most things. Can be quite good for Volcarona too if you need the extra bit of oomph, especially because both those Pokemon I just mentioned are 4x resisted to Leaf Storm, so it's kind of like a good contrast to Leaf Storm. It hits things 4x effective, which would otherwise be 4x resisted to it, so it's kind of a nice bit of a balance. And finally we have Glare. Glare is a weird one on the Choice Scarf build because you are going to be locked onto Glare, but sometimes it's your only option if you know, well, Leaf Storm's not going to KO, nor is Dragon Pulse or Hidden Power Rock, but if I Glare it, then my Ogerpon might outspeed afterwards, and that can OHKO. It can be very good for like Dragon Dancers or like Agility users, Choice Scarf users that could otherwise completely sweep your team, so it's pretty important to have that, in my opinion. You have to know when to use it. It's not spammable, but if you know, well, I'm going to die to this, I'm going to get KO'd, and I can't KO you, but I'm going to at least paralyze you before I go down. It's very, very good. So that's going to be the grass team. Again, I hit top 10 with this. Pretty powerful, in my opinion. I really like this team. Looking forward to using it. But before we jump right into it, it's going to be a really long team preview today. So let's jump right into the water team I have today. So this is the second team I'm going to be using later in the video. So if you want to check this team out, just kind of wait for later in the video. I'll timestamp it down below where my team previews end, where the grass starts, where water starts, and kind of where my Peonies or Ogerpon is. So it's a pretty standard enough water team. You might see a couple of strange things in there. You might think, oh, Empoleon? What's Empoleon doing? That thing is not very good, but it got a pretty good buff this generation, so I'm looking forward to trying it out. So Pelipper, pretty standard, bulky defense Pelipper with bold nature, max HP, max defense. It's going to be like my special wall on the team, my physical wall on the team. It's not that much of a wall, but it's enough to sponge a couple of physical hits, especially fighting moves, which my team is honestly a little bit weak too, so it's nice to have that flying typing. More importantly, it is a drizzle setter, which is very good for my Swampert to get that extra bit of speed in Swift Swim. Heavy G boots will let me ignore Stealth Rocks, which is quite good, paired especially with Defog, so I can remove any annoying hazards on my side of the field. It will remove my Swampert Stealth Rocks, so do bear that in mind. It's kind of annoying, but sometimes it's worth it. We have U-Turn to grab momentum, especially against things that want to swap out against it. You can grab momentum, go into one of your offensive Pokemon, so this is a quite offensive water team, and we'll see that now looking through the team. So having that momentum tool on Pelipper is quite good. We have Roost there for longevity. Again, it's there to soak up a few physical attacks. It's not like a super powerful physical wall, but it's decent all the same. And finally, we have Hurricane. Hurricane, again, only 70% accurate. Not the most accurate, but it is perfect accuracy in the rain, so that's quite good. It's also 110 base stab. Hits a lot of things quite nicely. Hits grass type super effectively. Hits bug type super effectively, so flying is a pretty good stab to have, especially paired with water, because it's not going to be walled out by things like steel, which would ordinarily give you a bit of trouble, steel, which would ordinarily give you a bit of trouble, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Next up we have Swampert. Swampert is going to be my Mega Swampert. It's going to be my main form of speed control. Now we have a little bit more speed control on things like Keldeo, but this is my main form of speed control. After Mega Evolving, it does get Swift Swim, which is quite nice. So Swift Swim is important because it will double my speed in the rain. You have to preserve your Pelipper quite nicely if you need that extra bit of speed on the matchup you're playing with, so do bear that in mind, but it's quite powerful. With max attack, adamant nature, and max speed, it hits really, really hard in the rain. It's a bit more of like a support-ish Swampert. It's not the most offensive, like we're not running Waterfall or Liquidation. We're running Flip Turn to grab momentum. This can be quite nice. Again, if they're thinking of swapping out, we can go into things like Ogerpon, maybe try to get my rain back with Pelipper, Empoleon. There's a lot of things, a lot of options you can go into with Flip Turn, depending on the circumstance. You're going to need to learn the team yourself, or hopefully in today's video you can see when it's good to use Flip Turn and when it's good not to. Again, there's an argument to be made. You could use Liquidation or Waterfall here if you particularly want. They're both very valid moves, but I kind of like the momentum you get from Flip Turn personally. We have Stealth Rocks to break Sashes and Sturdy because they are two things that give my team, honestly, a lot of trouble. My team does not appreciate those moves or those abilities to hang on with 1 HP because it's quite offensive in nature, so we definitely want Stealth Rocks to try and trip those away. Earthquake is my most powerful and reliable stab, base 100. Not going to hit flying types or levitators, so do bear that in mind. That's why I have Ice Punch to hit a lot of those super effectively, and hitting Dragons super effectively, which could otherwise wall my team. But other than that, Earthquake is quite spammable, being 100 base stab with a max attack, adamant, and very fast. Yeah, Earthquake's going to hurt a lot. Next up we have Walkin Wake. It's Specs Walkin Wake with max speed, max special attack, timid nature. So this thing hurts really, really hard if it hits you. With photosynthesis as well, we don't have to worry about the sun weakening any of my attacks. Actually, it in fact increases the power of my Hydro Steam and Flamethrower, while also increasing my speed a stage, or was it special attack? Yeah, my special attack a stage. So it gets even stronger in the sun. So yeah, any kind of fire matchup besides Volcanion, I'm not worried about it one bit. With choice specs, it's very, very strong. You can hit Hurricane. Again, much like Pelipper, it's perfect accuracy in the rain, which is quite good against grass types, which are giving my team a bit of trouble. Thanks to its part dragon typing as well, it does actually live grass types nicely, as well as electric types nicely, so we do have some options for two of my weaknesses. Draco Meteor is a good, just absolute, nuclear button. You just press it and something usually goes down. 130 base specs damage is going to hit really, really hard if you are not Fairy or Steel type. So yeah, it's going to be sore to get hit by this. Hydro Steam as well, it's not the strongest stab, however it does ignore the boost that Sunny Day would give you, so it doesn't ignore the weakness that Sunny Day gives you. So usually in the sun, your water moves are weakened by 0.5 times power, which is oftentimes fire's answer to water types, but thanks to Hydro Steam, it's actually boosted in the sun, making this thing almost unwallable against the fire matchup. And finally, we have Flamethrower, and Flamethrower is super important for Ferrothorn. That thing gives my team a lot of trouble. Do bear in mind, there's a small bit of negative energy there as well, because the Flamethrower will be weakened by the rain, so kind of play around that carefully. You can't just spam it as you see fit, because there is a bit of nuance to it. Next up, we have Ogerpon Wellspring, which is probably the reason you click this video. You want to see how good Ogerpon Wellspring is on this team. My first impression is it's not that amazing, but not that bad. Grass typing is not bad for water. I just really wish it had a different ability, like any of the other abilities. It'd be really cool maybe if like all the forms of Ogerpon could use any of the abilities, so I could choose like Mold Breaker, Sturdy, or Water Absorb. It would be insane. Obviously, it's not that good. It'd be fantastic if it was. So we're stuck at Water Absorb, unfortunately. Can come and clutch the odd time. You can't be Scalded is probably like the biggest benefit it has, but even at that, it's meh. It's okay, I suppose. Sometimes you want to swap into a water move that might throw with Swampert. I guess that's okay. That can happen occasionally. Either way, again, we're max attack, max speed, Jolly Nature, much like on the grass type. However, this time we do have Trailblaze to boost my power. So it's my boost my speed, sorry. So after a Swords Dance, again, this thing hits really, really strong. Thanks to Wellspring Mask giving it a 1.2 times power to all its attacks. Trailblaze is pretty strong. It's actually going to be like stab with 1.2 times power as well, so it can be quite nice. Honestly, hits things decently strong and gives you a speed boost. We have Horn Leech. It's not that much stronger, but the recovery is quite nice. This thing is okay bulk, like not amazing, but you'd be surprised it can live a hit. With Horn Leech, it can recover all the HP back. Again, if you want to get the extra bit of oomph, you can run things like Wood Hammer or Power Whip, for example. And if you want the extra bit of power as well in the rain, I would recommend running Ivy Cudgel over Knockoff, but I don't really have any other knockoff users on the team, so it's quite good to have that bit of team support. Also, I feel like otherwise I just have too much water stab, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but we have a lot of water moves on the team, so you can run Ivy Cudgel here if you want, or against Superpower, anything you kind of see fit. It's kind of walled out by Steel types-ish at the moment, so do bear that in mind. Not the best, but typically speaking, we won't have the most trouble with Steel types, so hopefully that's okay. Next up, Empoleon. So Empoleon is got a huge buff this generation. It got access to competitive as a hidden ability, which I don't believe it had before. Correct me if I'm mistaken. I think this is a new ability it got. Actually, let me check that. I'm really curious now. Does Empoleon have... I feel like, no, it had him. It had this? I feel like this thing got a buff though, right? Sorry, I should have checked this out before. Okay, yeah, no, it got a Defiant before. Now it is competitive. So Defiant was its old ability, which is increasing your attack 2 stages if you get hit by a move or hit by a status change. Competitive is the opposite, it's special attack, which is way, way better for Empoleon because it is just a naturally better special attacker by quite a decent margin. 86 as opposed to 111. Its part Steel typing is fantastic because those of you who are quite astute by now might have seen my team loses abysmally to Freeze Dry. 4x from Freeze Dry, 4x from Freeze Dry, 4x from Freeze Dry, 4x from Freeze Dry, 2x from Freeze Dry, so Freeze Dry ordinarily would just absolutely annihilate this team. Thanks to Empoleon's part Steel typing, it only takes 1 by damage, and with Assault Vest, it's pretty bulky. Base 84, 101 special bulk with Assault Vest is quite nice, and hits back pretty hard with a modest nature. Being 353 special attack can be quite good, especially after competitive boost. This thing can live a surprising amount of hits and hit back really, really hard. So moveset wise, you have Flash Cannon, again a good stab, has a chance of lowering special defense, not the most reliable, but pretty good against some things that would ordinarily wall out the rest of your moves. We have Scald, you can run again a bit of immediate more power with things like Surf or Hydro Pump if you really want. I prefer Scald personally, the chance of burning is so much more important than the chance of the extra bit of damage. Because if something swaps in and Empoleon gets burnt, that could often mean Empoleon can live and revenge KO it afterwards, something like Scald, Ice Beam or Flash Cannon. Ice Beam is there for flying types and most importantly dragon types, which can kind of wall out my team a little bit. We have Ice Punch here and Swampert, and of course Walkin Wake is quite strong against them, but Walkin Wake's double-edged sword, it will get knocked out easily by opposing Dracos or Outrages, while Empoleon will not, thanks to its part steel typing, so Ice Beam is quite nice there. And it actually also got a boost of being access to Vacuum Wave, which is kind of weird. I don't really know why I got Vacuum Wave, but I'm not going to complain. The priority to finish off weakened Pokemon comes into effect a lot in testing, so very good move for it to have. And finally, we have Choice Scarf Keldeo. You can absolutely run Choice Scarf Urshifu if you really want. Now, personally, I feel like my team was a bit more... I kind of feel like I wanted the nice mix of physical and special, which you have here on Keldeo, thanks to Secret Sword hitting defense as opposed to special defense, while Urshifu, of course, is only going to hit... hit defensively, so this can choose to hit defensively or special defensively depending on what you're facing. For example, a chance you can easily go down to a Secret Sword, which would ordinarily not go down to a Surf. Maybe something like Beware comes in, it's going to take a lot more damage from Air Slash or Surf, so I like the bit of adaptability. Also, it has a bit more speed than Urshifu. Urshifu is a small bit slower, which is kind of comes in play against some matchups, like Nihiligo, I believe outspeeds Urshifu, does not outspeed Keldeo. That's big because it can spam like Grass Knot or Thunderbolt against my team, which can be kind of annoying. So Keldeo does have that tiny bit of edge against things like that. So moveset wise, you have Secret Sword, again quite nice, 85 base, 100% accuracy, hits based on defense, special defense, which is quite good as I said there a minute ago. Air Slash is good for grass types and fighting types. I think like Komodo and Breloom as well can be quite dangerous, so it's good to have Air Slash, and the chance to flinch is nothing to sniff at. Surf is that immediate bit more power than things like Scald, but not quite as unreliable as things like Hydro Pump. I don't like the accuracy on Hydro Pump, so Surf, especially in the rain, hits quite nicely, and it's quite fast in order to sweep in late game. And finally, you have Icy Wind. You'll probably see in the video, I did actually originally have Hidden Power Electric in case I fought like Mantine, Pelipper, Gyarados, but I just never fought them. I was fighting things like Flying and Dragon much more often, so I thought Icy Wind is nice. Also a tiny bit of team support by lowering my opponent's speed, which is enough to maybe outspeed things with like Walkin Wake or Ogerpon afterwards and score a KO. Whew, that was a really long team preview, almost half an hour before jumping into some games. We've made it this far, thank you so much. We're about to jump into some games and see how good Ogerpon is. Okay, our first game here is against Mono Rock, which is certainly a doable matchup. I think I want to open up a Shiftry. Now, unfortunately, Wind Rider Explosion is not as good in this matchup. However, it's nice to be able to taunt Shuckle turn 1 just to deny them any kind of entry hazards they have on Shuckle. As well as that, Shuckle often doesn't run any attacking moves, so if I do taunt it, I can potentially force it out into something and maybe knock them off or just go for an explosion. Either way, Wind Rider into Bramble Gas is very strong in this matchup, as is Wind Rider into Superior. Honestly, Ogerpon as well. Yeah, my whole team has a pretty good chance against them. I'm not too worried about Terrakion, even on things like Ferrothorn, because I can always go into Bramble Gas, which will eat their close combats. So, needless to say, this is a very doable matchup. It's kind of an unfortunate one for Shiftry. I was kind of hoping Shiftry would be able to, explode and get an early KO. But it won't be so easy. They indeed open up a Shuckle. I'm going to try taunt them here. Yeah, I thought they could be Mental Herb. So they're going to go ahead and get that down. Now the question is, do I value Shiftry in this game, or do I just go and Tailwind into Bramble Gas? I guess in a way I kind of value it. Because I can Rapid Spin with Bramble Gas. And Superior gets the speed increase from Sticky Web here, so that could actually be kind of crazy. I could have like the world's fastest Superior. If I Tailwind here, it'll have like, I think 1200 speed or something, which is just ridiculous. I don't think Explosion kills this. But I'm going to go ahead and explode. If I swapped into Shift Serperior that turn, ate the Mystical Fire, it would be so nice. So I'll just explode here. I don't think it KOs. But as far as I know, it will let me get in my Serperior. Or honestly, Ogerpon Wellspring as well. Because I can Trailblaze. And that honestly could be game. Short of their own Ogerpon. Yeah. Because Explode puts them in range here of Trailblaze for sure. It would be really cool if you could have like a grass explosion move for Shift Tree. That would be pretty sick. I understand exactly why they don't have it. I mean, we don't want to see too many explosion moves in the game. Okay, they're going to Shuckle. That's pretty good play there. It is going to deny me my free Ogerpon, but I can still go into this and click Ivy Cudgel here. There is part of me that wanted to click Swords Dance for Trailblaze, but it's just not the play there. And I can negate their speed drop. Huh? Oh, probably Salt Cure, right? Yeah. That's okay, because I can Horn Leech here. Literally get it all back. Oh, I'm not even Trailblaze. Wrong set. I'm making my water set as Trailblaze. I don't necessarily think this team needs the extra speed. Like, we have Scarf Superior, we have Wind Rider support as well, so I don't think Trailblaze is necessarily needed. And Ivy Cudgel here is very strong. Very good play going into this to live with Sturdy. But it's not enough. I guess there's a world where Cheetar's kind of threatening. Not so much if they let me get in my Superior. If I land Leaf Storm, this dies. I'm also so fast. I actually have 1600 speed with Tailwind. That's so fast. Great. So they're forced to go into Cheetar here. If it's Vest, they live. I don't suppose there's anything they can do. Nope. They don't even live. They have to rely on a miss here. Yeah, they end up forfeiting. GG. I understand in this position there's not much they can do besides hope for a miss. Alright, we have an opposing Mono Grass. This could be quite tough. I think I want to open up my Shift Tree. And I want to taunt the Ferrothorn immediately if that's what they want to go for. Okay, they're going to Cradily. I'm just worried about Ferrothorn. Realistically speaking, I don't have much against it. I'm going to knock here. Not too bad. We can Tailwind. I definitely die here, but nope. I meant to go into Bramble Gas. That's bad. Okay, let's go for Swords Dance. Not ideal, but honestly the Swords Dance here is actually not bad. Obviously Ferrothorn comes in for free. We'll knock here. 41's not much at all. I'll SD again. I'm okay with them getting hazards up because I can just spin them away. Not the end of the world for me. I am a bit worried about Superior, which naturally they go into here. So this probably does. Yes, we miss. That's fantastic for me. Even after my really bad misclick. That's quite good for me. I'll have you Cudgel here. They probably go into Venusaur, which lives. Oh, strong. Okay, this Life Orb. Very good information to have, because all I'm going to go ahead and do here is spin away these hazards. 21 is, all things considered, not the worst. Okay. This is where things get a little bit more difficult. I don't value Superior that much in the game. Now, it does outspeed Meowscarada, which is pretty good, but my Ferrothorn should wall it out, and Lilligant should be walled out by Venusaur. So I kind of want to go Serperior and Glare. Just because this thing is a huge threat to me. Are we going to try to get my spikes up here? A Lilligant could be difficult. Yeah, this is scary if it victory dances. Okay, CC's not that strong. We'll synth once. I think now that I have my Mega up, I shouldn't take too much damage from Lilligant. Venusaur comes back in. Are you like hidden power fire? Earth power? Not too bad. No, I do think I have to keep this healthy for Meowscarada. I do outspeed and I can spam Sludge Bomb here. I'm going to synth once. Just because I do want more HP against Lilligant. Come on, fully para. Really? How many times can you break through this? Nice. That is exactly the turn I needed. If they go Meowscarada, do I stay in? I think so. I think I stay in Sludge Bomb. That actually wasn't that strong. And based on the way they're playing, are they choiced? I think they are. GG. That Wellspring misclick was very bad, but I mean, it is the feature mon, so I guess it's, and we won, so I guess it's not a complete loss, but I probably would have rather gone Bramble Gas, but if I did, I wouldn't have removed hazards, and honestly, that was a big boon for this game. Alright, Mono Ghost time. Blacephalon's tough. Definitely not gonna deny that. I don't think I want my Shift Tree burnt here because it's so good with knockoff. I can go Serp here. I don't mind if Serp gets burnt, and honestly Leaf Storm to it KOs this. Kind of forces in something like even Corsola. Corsola. Okay. That is bulky. Wow. Is that like Vest? Either way, I'm not too scared of this. Strong. If we force in Blasef, I'm pretty sure Ogerpon lives. Actually, Shiftry lives as well because we have our scarf still. Sorry, our sash still. And I'm faster than everything. Mimikyu comes in, that makes sense. Do I sack this? No, because I can glare later on in the game. Let's go Pharaoh here. Nice play. We'll break your disguise. Okay. I guess they expected spikes. Now this thing's actually a threat. Venusaur. As long as I keep Wellspring healthy, I'm not in too bad a position. We'll Giga Drain. Not terrible damage. Not amazing, but not terrible. And I'm going to go ahead here and go for a poison, I think. Nope. Honestly, poisoning this would be massive. Because it's worth noting, once they get rocks up at Corsola, I can't remove them, which is pretty bad for me. Really? Please poison. Okay, cool. So this thing's kind of on a timer now. I'm going to synth once. They might recover here. Actually, Shadow Sneak actually kills Blacephalon, I'm pretty sure. It's pretty weak. Like, physically defensive side, it's pretty weak. This is fine. We'll Giga Drain back some HP. They're on much more of a timer than I am. They only have 5 recovers left, and Poison's doing twice as much as them. We'll Giga Drain. Okay, Gengar's fine, because we can Earth Power here. I don't think I value this too much. Not when it's so low HP, and not when Ogerpon Wellspring does much the same job as it against Blasef. Endure. Is this like Endure Destiny Bond? I'll send one just in case it is. Endure Costap. That's a cool set, but I don't know if it necessarily works. Ah, cool. That is a cool set, but I mean, I don't value Venusaur at all anymore. I kind of want to go Shiftry. Now, Mimikyu's a big threat. And that's what I'm worried about. Let's go Ogerpon. Perfect. We get a free knock here. If we knock Corsola, ideal. Ideal. Does Ivy Cudgel KO without Eviolite? I think it might. They can also burn me here, which I don't like. And they can Strength Sap, so let's go Serp. I really don't want them getting up rocks, but I don't think I have much of an option here. And it's fine, because as long as I keep Blasef healthy, keep Bramble Gas healthy enough to click Shadow Sneak, I should win. Okay, they probably Strength Sap here. I'll taunt. Yeah, I'll taunt here. They can Nightshade, that's fine, that's Tailwind. Get my +1 into knock. I'm pretty sure that's game. Well, you die. For sure. You can go Mimikyu. I'm gonna go ahead and knock off your item. And break your disguise. Huh? I mean, I'll take it. That's the biggest threat to my team. Thank you. You know what? I'm gonna taunt you. Now that you have no more Blasef, my Ferrothorn wins for free if I don't let you SD in my face. Speaking of. I think all I have to do is break your disguise, and I should win. But I also kind of want Spikes up. Because Corsola could be annoying. Yeah, it's Drain Punch. I kind of feared it might be. Okay, let's just KO you. Do they go for a burn here? They might do... Or do they go for rocks? Let's go Ogerpon. They Strength Sap. You don't have an item, so I can't Poltergeist you. I have to remember that because I make that mistake so often. Are you burn? Yeah, you are. I don't think they can KO me fast enough though, so if I just Swords Dance a bunch in their face. Into Ivy Cudgel, into knock off maybe? Okay, that's Ivy. No, we Sword Dance one more time, right? I don't even know what this KOs. It's kind of weak. Oof, close. Okay, I have to taunt you. Gotta taunt you here. Into knockoff, twice into Tailwind. I think is the play. And the reason for that is knockoff. I just want to do as much damage to this as possible while it can't Strength Step me back. That is so strong. Do I Tailwind here? Yeah, Tailwind here, right? Because then I outspeed Mimikyu. Yeah, and once I can Leech Seed it with Pharaoh, I'm pretty sure I win. Either way, we knock off into Shadow Sneak. This breaks its disguise, it dies to Shadow Sneak now, and so does Corsola. You don't live this. 811 attack, stab, super effective. Priority. It's so strong. I know it's only 40 base, but there's just no world where Mimikyu lives this. It probably died to Banded, let alone the Wind Rider boost. It's just so strong. Yeah, and this dies too. Nice. GG. So we're back into top 50 with grass. I know it's not, that impressive. We're top 10, yeah, we're still top 10 here with my test ult. This is the account I was testing the Ogerpons on. So I'll probably move over to Mono Water soon, but I want to try to get one more grass game, because this is a really fun team. Alright, this is a nice hard matchup for me right here. It's Mono Bug. I really hate their first impression on low kicks. It's going to do so much damage to me. I'm not sure what they open up with. I feel they might open up with their Armaldo and try to get their rocks down early, so I'm going to go ahead here. It's due here in Taunt. I should live first impression with Bramble Gas, I think, maybe. But that's Sucker Punch as well, so kind of a tough one. Nice. I deny their rocks. Let's Tailwind here into Knock. I think it's slightly stronger. And yeah, if I can deny them rocks this entire game, that's so good for me. Oh, I'm bad. I forgot about that. Ah. Oops. This is why Explosion always. It's early in the morning for me. Whoops. Okay. Don't make that mistake. Don't do what I just did there. Maybe I can get my rocks up still. My spikes up, sorry. I can rapid spin this away. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's not ideal, but it's manageable still. Oh. That's bad for me. That's very bad for me. I probably just lose here, right? I guess I can go Ogerpon. This KOs. I don't think the KO Bullet Punch. But then they just go first impression Mon and win, right? And quick attack Pinsir. I mean, to be honest, I deserve this loss. Let's be a lesson of what not to do. I probably should have just exploded on Armaldo. And the worst thing is, it's not the first time I made this mistake. It's not like, you know, oh, I didn't know that's how the interaction worked. Like, I made the mistake so many times in testing. You think by now I'd have beat it into my head, like, don't do that. Yeah, the first impression here. I think I sack Superior. Because, like, Ogerpon is still pretty good. I'm going to go in SD once, in case they try Sucker here. Actually, if there's Scarf Buzzwole as well, it's really bad for me, right? Armaldo. Let's Horn Leech back to full. I'm guessing it's Banded. Banded low kicks? I have to assume. Which, I mean, I lose here anyway. I can go into Bramble. It does not matter because they swap this out. Take it back in, KO again. Rinse, repeat. Win. Oh, it's not even banded. It's Black Hole Eclipse. GG. That was a really bad game for my end. That was a really, really badly played game. I think that ushers in the end of the grass team. Let's load up water. Alright, right off the bat with Mono Water. It's a pretty tough matchup. It's Mono Dragon. Empoleon here is pretty good. I kind of wish I had Icy Wind right now on Keldeo. I feel like I should put it on over Hidden Power Electric. I mean, I've never run into like a Pelipper or a Manton or Gyarados or anything in testing, so I think I'll go ahead and change that after this game. Swampert. Yeah, rocks are nice. So is Ice Punch. What do they open up with? Probably Garchomp, right? Let's open up with my Walkin Wake as they open up Garchomp, and I'm just going to go ahead here and Draco immediately. What you did here? Not here. You Scarf Rocks? That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Not going to lie. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, I'm -1 now, so it's not great for me. This is a threat. Let's go Pelipper. If it's Dragon Dance, yikes. Nice. Dual wing beast. That's probably a bandit. That did a lot of damage. Gonna go in here, go to Empoleon and click Ice Beam. I'm pretty sure it's bandit. That's like full HP, full Fizz Death. Excalibur comes in. We can flash here. I should live an Earthquake. Yeah. Based on how they're playing, that's definitely banded. You're banded. Nothing on my team like particularly loves taking this. I kind of want to save this, but I can also just Vacuum Wave here and break its multi-scale, and then go into Walkin Wake. It's gonna Earthquake. You know what? I actually don't value Ogerpon at all, and it lives. It's kind of the exact same situation. No, I'm not gonna go ahead and break your... Damn. Give me your Scarf. Lum. Oh, this is bad for me. No, I think they have to kill me here. And I knock again. Nah, they're Roost. This is bad for me. This is real bad for me. I think I just straight out lose here. Is Earthquake the last move? Or is it Outrage? Yeah, it's Earthquake. Maybe Swampert lives. Nice. I don't know if that mattered, because I think I lose anyway. Like, maybe Walkin Wake can just... Why did you go into this? You're 4 by weak to Ice Punch. I don't understand that play. This thing's a threat. I can actually break... I can break this thing's multi-scale with rocks. Interesting. Interesting move. Doesn't KO me, and it's Life Orb. Okay. I think I'm slower with Keldeo by like 2 points. If I live 1 and I hit Draco, I win. I think I live 1. Yeah, pretty convincingly. Now all I have to do is hit Draco. Come on. A 90% chance I win this game. Nice. GG. I don't know why you went to Executor earlier. Did you think you'd outspeed me, maybe? But I mean, this thing is so slow. Even at minimum speed, I have a good chance of still outspeeding you, so... I don't understand that play personally. I'm going to change Keldeo to Icy Wind. I think that would have helped a lot in this game. Alright, we have another game against Mono, or opposing game against Mono Water. Their Feeny is kind of actually annoying for me. I value Ogerpon like a crazy amount in this game. I'm actually going to open up Empoleon. They open Lapras. I'll Flash Cannon. Bit of chip. Strong. Pelipper comes in. We can Scald here. Especially if the U-turn into Swampert. Into Lapras. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and Flash Cannon you again. Oh, it's a speed tie. Cool. That's fun, because I get Ogerpon Trailblaze. Or do I Hard Horn Leech here? I think I just Hard Horn Leech. Because Freeze Dry is like a big threat in that thing. You're probably Hurricane. I don't really have a Hurricane swap in. Kind of Walkin Wake, but kind of not really too. Ugh, strong. And they go into Feeny, right? Let's double into Ogerpon here on the Feeny. Nice. Here ISD. Now the question is, yeah, Hornage kills, right? Nope. They don't kill me either. I get a decent chunk back. I'm faster than these three. I'm slower than you, Barraskewda. I think I get all my HP back from this. No, it lived. This thing is just a tiny bit weaker than I want it to be. Either way, not a bad position for me to be in. I need to wall out your rain turns and sack my Pelipper in turn. Iron defense. Yeah, this is like Calm Mind as well. Not great for me. Okay. What is my answer to this? Do I just try muscle through it, Ogerpon? It's doing nothing though. Taunt, this is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and Horny Chew one more time. Get a bit of HP back. And then I'm gonna knock off your leftovers to stop your longevity. Yeah, it is Calm Mind. That's what I was worried about. Is it stored power? Straining Kiss. I think short of a crit, I just lose here. Right? I mean, this dies. For sure. Hurricane crit we kill. Confusion? Hit yourself? No! I lived. Surprising. Okay. One more time. No! And what's the strongest move I have? It's not Earthquake because it's 4 times defense. I think it's Keldeo. And I just click Air Slash, right? Stronger than Surf. That's 135 by half. It's 150, so it's slightly stronger. 35. Yeah. Nice. I feel like Swampert's still a bit of an issue. Because like I don't really want rain up against them. It's actively benefiting them, which is bad for me. Okay. I guess we just surf here. It comes down to the do I live Barraskewda? And the answer is, I think Pelipper walls it out. I'm immediately faster. I probably should have Secret Sworded. That's quite strong. Waterfall. Just don't flinch. Don't flinch. Don't flinch. Don't flinch. Don't flinch. No. That was such a close game. That was like way too close of a game. I can tell like I'm just not in my zone between like me being a bit ill and it being early in the morning. I'm definitely not playing the best, but I'm glad to still be clutching these games all the same. Alright, so Mono Steel. This is it's a tough enough matchup. I do think Walkin Wake goes pretty good here, as does Keldeo, because they don't have any Ghost Mons here, which is pretty good for me. I think I want to open up Empoleon actually. They're probably going to try to get their rocks down turn 1. That's fine because I can Scald here. Melmetal comes in. I mean, I'm okay with the burn on you. No burn, unfortunate. Now, how much do I value this? I think a decent bit because they're going to Earthquake, right? If they Thunder Punch, great play. Going to go a new turn away from you because I don't want a Thunder Punch. If they stay in, they are most likely not banded. If they swap out, they are most likely banded. That is my logic, and I'm sticking by it. Cool. So they're probably banded. That's good information to have. Because I can go into Pert here. They might go into their Corviknight, so I'll flip turn. Reading you like a book. 39 is pretty good. Walkin Wake, yeah, is so strong here actually. So I can just click Hydro Steam. And thanks to the rain, I mean, Goodra can swap in, but it's still going to take like, I guess like 20 if it's vested. And 20 if it can't recover is really good for me. This dies. Now that opens up Keldeo so much. Yeah, I expected you to come in. I don't know what you do though. I'm going to go Ogerpon and knock you off. Curse. Oh no, it's this set. Curse Mental Herb. Interesting. This set's like really bad for me. I can try Specs Draco here. I actually don't think it KOs. It does do a KO though. They got a bit greedy there. They should have rested. So I'm okay with that. You're a threat. A big one at that. I guess Pelipper into Swampers. Trailblaze. Okay, this thing's a huge threat. I want to try like Hurricane, confuse this. Oh my god, this thing's such a threat. Ooh, I'm surprised I lived. Real surprised I lived. I'm gonna roost on you. You probably Volt Switch. Rapid Spin. You know what? That's fine. Give me your sturdy. I still have my boots left. I can go Walkin Wake. I'm not gonna Flamethrower because that invites in Heatran for free. So I'm gonna go Hydro Steam you here. Yeah, I save this, I Flamethrower, and I win the game. I'm pretty sure that's game. In fact, I'll go on Empoleon here anyway. On the explosion. If you're forced to Earthquake, you don't win. You're burnt anyway. Nice. GG. I mean, Earthquake would have, like, I actually should have 6-0'd this game, but maybe that's just insulting at that point. I could have swapped into Walkin Wake on the burn, and just clicked Flamethrower, and just won immediately. GG. Okay, we're back against Mono Water. This time, hopefully I won't play as badly. What do I open up with? Because their Lapras is actually such a big threat to me. Their Tapu Fini is scary, so I definitely need to keep Ogerpon healthy for that. I'm going to go ahead and get rocks down at Nick immediately. As they go into Pert. I'll Quake. I think they're probably plus speed. Okay, I'll rocks here. I'm pretty okay with playing with rocks up in this game. Especially if I'm forcing them to get rid of them before me. Let's go Empoleon. We live Earthquake. Sorry, Hurricane very easily. And U-turn's not that scary either. I kinda always go Pelipper on you. And click Hurricane. Now Pelipper is also a fantastic option to keep healthy versus Barraskewda. Really? How often do I realistically need to get flinched on this? Okay. You're a threat. Confusion's good. I'm going to U-turn here. Hope you hit yourself. If not, it's fine, because Empoleon's still really good. Freeze Dry, that's why pretty much exactly why I have Empoleon this team. Because Freeze Dry is really scary. Like, Freeze Dry eats my team alive. Volcanion. Let's get a bit of chip. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. What do you do? Earth Power is kind of weak. I think as long as I keep Ogerpon healthy and I hard swap into Fini every single time it comes in. I hard swap you. Because you need a few Calm Minds before Draining Case realistically does a lot of damage. Good play. But Empoleon's pretty free here. I mean, if you want to continue taking Rock's Chip, I'm fine with that. And I get the advantage here. I get to see what you're going into and answer accordingly. Do I have an answer to this? I guess it has to be Walkin Wake Hurricane, right? It's not ideal, but it's pretty strong still. You die. I know it's like minimal damage they're taking, but every small bit of chip they take every time they swap out is pretty good for me. Pelipper's free, flip turn, they take damage. Into Fini. Where you turn in here. Into Ogerpon. We're going to knock off your leftovers. And just start setting up. Yeah. This is fine. I feel like letting me get up SDs was not the answer for them. Because their Draining Kiss won't KO here. And it puts them still in range of a 4-H. GG. I knew this time to expect this Fini. I'm just keeping Ogerpon healthy every time. Are they not like taunts? They probably should have taunted earlier, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much because Horn Leech would still be doing the same amount of damage because they're 4 by defense and 4 by attack, so I think it will roughly balance out all the same. So that is going to be from the video. My voice is really going right now, so I do apologize if it sounds a bit strange in the video, a bit rushed, but yeah, I can feel like my voice hurting me after recording for so much, especially when I'm a bit sick. But speaking of sick, how is Ogerpon? Pretty sick, man. I think Wellspring it's in a weird position. I firmly agree with what I stated at the start of the video, where I think it's the worst Ogerpon form for Monotype, but not bad, if that makes sense. If you could run multiple Ogerpon forms, I think there's absolutely validity to run every Ogerpon form on a team, but since you can't, I would personally suggest on grass using a different Ogerpon form, probably like Rock. I think Rock's probably the best one on grass. Fire's not bad either. But Rock is quite good on grass, so personally I would suggest using that one. On water, it's good. It's pretty good. I think it's better on grass than it is on water, but it's in the weird state where it's the worst on grass compared to its other forms. It's still worth running on water, but water has no shortage of good mons to run, so I wouldn't be jumping at joy to run Ogerpon Wellspring, but it's certainly viable if you kind of want to, or if you think your team fits it. So yeah, overall, good mon, just kind of outclassed by itself, which is not a bad complaint to have, I suppose. So yeah, from here this far, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. I'll catch you next time, everyone, and take care.